This orange is healthy for now, but once it becomes infected, its peel would turn green and its insides wouldn't be juicy like this. They would be dry. Vandenberg crews have been working on this launch since the beginning of the year. Most media coverage of the typhoon has been focused right here in Tacloban, but Zara and her family are trying to bring attention to their village. The American Red Cross says a total of 35 people displaced by the fire have been transferred here to Manami Community Center. It's a big fair celebrating the biggest crop in the county. I'm Brittany Silverstein at the Santa Maria Strawberry Festival, where we're taking you along for the ride.
So Amber, what about your music do you feel really draws people in?
But a little bit like that.
All right, you think you'll hire me?
By the amount of salt you put on that one, there's a lot of...
So Brittany, what do you think about spiders?
I guess I'm a little afraid of spiders.
3, 2, 1, 0, liftoff.
The Falcon 9 rocket soared high into the air, marking the first SpaceX Falcon rocket to launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base.
We've probably had a dozen or so folks from just the 1st Air and Space Test Squadron working really hard, doing almost 24/7, people rotating in and out.
Vandenberg crews have been working on this launch since the beginning of the year. In fact, today's launch of the Falcon 9 rocket marks the 3rd successful launch from the base just this week. Teams created the rocket as a new way of launching satellites into space with better technology and less costs. It's a move that's causing the local economy to take off.
These are a tremendous economic driver for the local communities, not just Lompoc, but the entire Central Coast, because of the number of visitors it brings. So it puts a lot of people in hotels and a lot of meals in restaurants.
While it's the first rocket of its kind, it's also a first for some of the crew who worked on it.
This one I could say, hey, I was actually on that pad. I was actually able to see that rocket being processed, and that's pretty exciting for me.
Brittany Silverstein at Vandenberg Air Force Base, your Central Coast News. These charred remains are all that's left of the town center inn after a fire ripped through it early Saturday morning. Dozens of residents barely escaped with their lives.
You see this side of the hotel? 4 people were pulled from that top story, hanging out of those windows.
Kathy Azevedo calls herself lucky because she was able to escape with her family.
I heard somebody yelling, "Fire! Fire!" My son went out into the hallway to investigate. "Mom, we have to get out."
Investigators are still trying to figure out the cause of the fire, but believe it started on the 1st floor.
It traveled very quickly. This is a very old building that's been remodeled many, many times. This was a really hard fire to fight.
The American Red Cross says a total of 35 people displaced by the fire have been transferred here to Manami Community Center, where doors will be open for them as long as they need. At the center of the crime, Amos Andrews, a former maintenance man at the hotel. Police arrested him after they say he started the fire intentionally. Residents tell Central Coast News he was recently fired from his job.
I didn't do anything. Why take it out on me and the rest of the tenants? Property, as irritating as it is, you can get it back eventually. But life, you can't get it back.
Brittany Silverstein in Santa Maria, your Central Coast News. Before the days of CGI animation, those bugs you saw in movies, like this one over here, were actually real. I sat down with Stephen Kutcher, who explains how he turned his passion for bugs into a career. He's been called a real-life Spider-Man, and for entomologist Stephen Kutcher, that's actually a compliment.
One of the things I use, I'll show you with Rosie. To make her go, I'm going to tap her back legs like this and see if we can get her to crawl a little bit. So this is go, and to make her stop, I'll cover her eyes.
Stephen has always been interested in bugs, but then put his passion into the film industry.
When I saw that 1 out of 3 movies had a bug in it, I saw the potential of working with insects in Hollywood, especially since I had a background in insect behavior.
His work has been featured in several big blockbuster hits, including Spider-Man, Jurassic Park, and Arachnophobia, shot right here on the Central Coast in Cambria. Stephen says his main job is teaching the bugs to do tricks.
We loaded this up with spiders. We'd stick the spiders in, and then we would push them towards the front so they were a little crowded. and then we had this little lid. We'd open this up, and then spiders would come out. So if we had a scene where a lot of spiders were coming out somewhere, we could use things like this.
They spread out from a central nest in a web-like pattern and dominate the entire area.
While most of us might scream when we see these bugs on the big screen, for Stephen, it's all in a day's work.
My favorite part about my job is I get paid to play. If I didn't work in the film industry, I'd still have my bug zoo and my butterfly garden, and I'd still be handling bugs and doing education.
And as for me, well, let's just say that's another story.
So Brittany, what do you think about spiders?
I guess I'm a little afraid of spiders. Yeah, probably going to have nightmares from that one. Another way Stephen uses his passion is creating what he calls insect art, where he dips bugs in paint and then has them walk across a canvas. We've posted a link to where you can view some of his artwork on our website. Brittany Silverstein in the newsroom, your Central Coast News.